What's up, folks? Let's get those numbers up. We got something big to share today. Hey, welcome everybody. Looks like the notifications are going out. And apologies, today is laundry day. Laundry day here in the castle. So that's why I don't have a better background. Hey, Sarah, welcome. Haven't seen you in a little while. Some of the old time people from way back when. From my podcast Rogan days. She was an old listener. Not physically old, but old as in long time. Welcome, everybody. So I want to dive right into the issues at hand. First of all, after 9/11, the stock market lost $1.4 trillion adjusted for inflation. Lost about $1.4 trillion after 9/11 occurred. On April 3rd, after Trump's tariff shenanigans, April 3rd this week, the stock market lost $2 trillion. As somebody points out on Twitter, those tariffs were the equivalent of 1.42 9/11s. There's a 1.5 9/11 in terms of the economic loss to the United States. And you go out further, you go out the whole couple of weeks. $10 trillion, sorry, not couple of weeks, since Trump was inaugurated in January to today. $10 trillion has exited the stock market. $10 trillion vaporized. And these MAGA influencers who say, well, that money will now be redistributed to people who deserve it. That's not how it works. The money's gone. It's vaporized. I never would have thought that the Trump camp would be putting out so much stuff against American investors. You don't want us to invest in America? Fine. I can't lose much more money on American stocks. And to see people saying nasty stuff toward me for investing in American companies, okay. I'm the bad guy. People who have stocks in America are the bad guys. Wait and see what happens when we all pull out. And this fantasy land where people just want low wage factory jobs. How did this become the fetish of the right? You want low wage, low upside potential factory jobs. How is that the dream? As some people have pointed out, many of our ancestors had jobs like that. And the whole intent was to build up enough money and enough social status so that their children and their grandchildren would not have to live that kind of existence. And now the hard factory jobs that have been exported to countries where labor is much cheaper, that's suddenly the golden thing. We had a great thing in America and we blew it up. $10 trillion gone. Doesn't matter how many jobs you give people, it's not going to equal $10 trillion. And Trump saying that there's $6 trillion of pledges to invest in America, that means nothing. The actual investments are the stock market. Any company could just say, oh yeah, we're going to invest 100 billion in America. The stock market is what shows you where the investments are. And a lot of journalists are leftists. A lot of journalists side with the left. And I think part of that is that they struggle for such a large part of their life. They struggle economically because things like writing and most of what journalism entails, kind of low income opportunities, right? Unless you're like a TV host getting paid millions of dollars a year, very low income career for the most part. And they spend their time in bars and speakeasies and stuff in places like New York and cities like Los Angeles that are traditionally quite liberal. And you can see why these journalists become leftist over time. In my case, I think a combination of personal views and recent personal prosperity. I just happen to side more with the right. I think things like property rights and freedom of speech are absolutely core, absolutely important to adult life in the 2020s. And so I'm more of a right wing property rights guy. And when I see people attack others who have money or others who have invested in America, it shows me they've got nothing else going on, right? I saw some of these nasty comments on my last live stream. I left them up just because, I'm open to other people's opinions. But people saying to me, like people talking down to me because I have resources, Like, am I supposed to respect you because you don't? Because you didn't take risk and you're not successful? I'm supposed to extend some kind of respect to you more than anybody else? Quite the opposite. If somebody doesn't have any skin in the game, I sort of respect them less for sure, because my life has been one of risk and certainly skin in the game. And so I respect people like that less. And I just wanted to point out some stuff it's not being said anywhere, and it's absolutely bonkers. So this guy Scott Bessent is Trump's Treasury Secretary, and he's the intellectual leader going on TV shows and defending these tariffs alongside the other guy, Lutnick, who's Trump's Commerce Secretary. So Lutnick, of course, used to work at Cantor Fitzgerald, Dollar Tree, Goldman Sachs, as I call them. They're like a Goldman Sachs, but with a much worse reputation, a reputation for screwing people, basically a glorified boiler room. There's a whole bunch of theories about them in 9/11 also, because they had the office at the top of the towers, and some of the executives didn't show up for work that day. And it's actually supposedly the premise, Cantor Fitzgerald and their 9/11 weirdness was supposedly the premise for that TV show Billions, which I enjoy on Showtime. You have Bobby Axelrod, this fictional billionaire. He's like a hedge fund manager. His life is based off of Cantor Fitzgerald people. So, not the most scrupulous folks. And so, I want everybody to read this, and all you guys get this out there. I'm only going to say this once. This is huge. Scott Bessent used to work for George Soros. Trump's Treasury Secretary used to work for George Soros, and his mentor is George Soros. Every effing time, folks, every damn time. And people are saying that I'm a double agent or something. No, I just think Trump's tariffs have cost us $10 trillion. And I don't think that making sneakers here in the United States is the be and end all of economic success. We're an empire, and we're composed of investors, right? We have a reserve currency. We'll see for how long we keep it. But we don't make cheap shit here. That's not what America does. That hasn't been our MO for a century. We win wars, and we're an empire. And when somebody sells us cheap goods like cheap steel from China, how does that screw us? When we're buying something cheap, it's because we want it. It's because we need the steel. But you guys have to read this. Listen, or you have to listen to this. I asked Grok, which is Twitter's AI, which Musk built. I asked Grok, is it really true that Bessent used to work for Soros? Like, I can't believe this. And nobody on the right is saying that Trump's tariff guy literally worked for George Soros, the biggest enemy of American prosperity, the biggest enemy of the American right, and this supposed right-wing president, his Treasury Secretary, who's masterminding this tariff collapse of our economy. He used to work for Soros. Now, do I trust that? I don't trust that for a millisecond. So here's what Grok says. Yes, it is true that Scott Bessent advised George Soros. Bessent had a significant professional relationship with Soros, working at the Soros Fund Management. We got played, folks. This guy worked at Soros's fund. Working at Soros Fund Management for multiple periods over the years, he joined the firm in the early 1990s, eventually becoming the head of its London office, where he played a key role in the famous 1992 Black Wednesday trade, betting against the British pound, which earned Soros's fund over $1 billion. So the collapse of, I can't believe this, the collapse of the Bank of England, which everybody credits Soros with, that's where his initial, windfall came from, or at least one of his initial windfalls was betting against the Bank of England. Bessent was right there beside him. This intentional collapse of a national bank. Bessent was right there beside Soros. Bessent later returned to Soros Fund Management from 2011 to 2015 as chief investment officer. This is treasonous. They're killing our economy, and they got a Soros guy as the Treasury Secretary. This is treasonous. I mean, not only did he work for Soros in the 90s, he then comes back and works for him in 2015. That's recent history. That's not ages ago. So from 2011 to 2015, he is Soros's chief investment officer at Soros Fund Management. And this is the U.S. Treasury Secretary. During his time there, he oversaw various strategies, including profitable trades like shorting the Japanese yen. Are these people in Trump's White House shorting the U.S. economy as they're talking against property investment ownership in ways I've never heard the right talk about ever? I joke the right wing communists. Since when are investors the bad guy? Again, you keep villainizing us. We're going to pull the fuck out, guaranteed. Between the losses we're experiencing and being talked down to, we're going to pull the fuck out and go all cash. That's my guess. It's a bunch of small investors are going to go all cash pretty soon if this abuse continues, and that's the end of your American economy. You don't have any factories to make fucking sneakers if the stock market continues this kind of loss. So, are they betting against our empire as they're intentionally collapsing it? That's my question. Right now, he controls the SEC, so there's no real oversight there. But are these guys like Besant and Lutnick just shorting the shit out of US stocks as they're talking? It's so unpatriotic. It's like even the left doesn't do that. Even fucking Obama doesn't go on TV and just slam American stocks and talk about how, well, most of the stocks are held by people at the top. 10% own most of the stocks. Okay, that goes for anything in life. 10% of the people get most of the women. 10% of the people have most of the skill. It's probably less than that, right? Life is unfair. That doesn't mean we should outlaw stock ownership. This is insanity. And it feels like it's rigged. It feels like a rigged game. Again, this guy was Soros' right-hand man, and he's the Treasury Secretary who's running point on these tariffs, which are destroying our economy here in the West. And China turned around and they said, hey, we'll play ball. They turned around, they imposed a 30-something% tariff, which makes it impossible for companies like Tesla to now sell their products in China in a competitive way. So Tesla is fucked. And China did something else. They also said they're going to restrict the United States from their rare earth minerals in response to our tariffs. So we need those rare earth minerals. We don't have everything in the United States that we need. Microchips, the AI stuff in electric cars, the stuff in communication satellites. You need the rare earth minerals. And they're in rural China. It's in random parts of China. And they're happy to sell it to us, but not now that we're in a trade war. So this is why you can't go around being a bully, right? It's like we actually need things from each other. They don't want to sit on it. They want to sell it. But now they're restricting it and not selling it to us. It's disastrous. Again, why isn't everybody on the right, instead of saying, hey, losing money doesn't matter. Hey, your 401k doesn't matter. Fuck you if you invest in the stock market. What? I'm hearing this from people on the right, like Luigi-style left rhetoric from people on the right. Fuck you if you own stocks. Oh, okay, fuck me. Oh, I'm a beta male, like somebody in the comments is saying, because I invest in America, I'm a beta male. Wait and see what happens when we pull out. Wait and see what happens when the people with money in this country decide this is enough abuse. This is fucking enough abuse and it's fake. It's abusive and it's fake. This guy Besant's a Soros man. Does George Soros care about the American worker? We all got played. Feel free to share this. Share this information. It's fucking outrageous.